Balaam had clear instructions. He was permitted to make the journey to Moab, but God attached one strict, unbending condition. Balaam could only speak the specific words God provided to him. Looking out over this terrain, you can see the sheer scale of the route toward Moab. It's a vast, arid expanse of valleys and ridges that requires serious preparation to cross. So Balaam rises early. He saddles his donkey, joins the Moabite princes, and sets out on the road. In his mind, he is a man fulfilling a commission, entirely in control of his mission and his immediate future. But the text says God's anger is kindled by his departure. Without warning, an invisible adversary materializes in the path ahead. It is the angel of the Lord, standing in the road with a drawn sword. Here is a renowned prophet, a man whose entire reputation is built on his ability to see and speak for the divine. Yet, as he rides forward, he is completely blind to a lethal, heavenly threat standing right in front of him. The landscape soon shifts from wide-open valleys to a series of rugged, hilly dirt trails. These paths naturally create tight bottlenecks, restricting where a rider can actually go. As they travel, the donkey, possessing the spiritual sight her rider lacks, spots the armed angel. To protect Balaam, she takes immediate evasive action, turning completely off the dirt path and wandering into an open field. Balaam reacts with blind frustration. Instead of investigating why his reliable animal is acting up, he physically strikes the donkey, forcing her back onto the deadly route. The terrain tightens even further. The angel relocates, positioning himself in a narrow path passing through a vineyard, boxed in by rigid stone walls on both sides. Spotting the angel again, the donkey makes a second, more desperate maneuver. With nowhere left to turn, she thrusts her body hard against the stone wall to scrape past the angel's blade. In doing so, she crushes Balaam's foot against the rocks. The pain triggers a second, furious bout of physical abuse from the prophet as he beats his animal to regain control. A lowly beast of burden is actively enduring physical pain to save a master who remains entirely ignorant of his own impending execution. Finally, the geography forces a breaking point. The angel moves to a bottleneck so incredibly narrow that there is zero room to turn, either to the right or to the left. The donkey executes her final act of calculated disobedience. Unable to dodge, she simply collapses to the dirt underneath Balaam, refusing to advance a single step toward the sword. Balaam erupts. Filled with explosive rage, he takes his staff and strikes the fallen owl for a third time. Then, the narrative introduces a supernatural intervention. God miraculously opens the mouth of the donkey, giving this supposedly dumb beast the power of human speech. The animal speaks with surprising calm. She asks Balaam, "What have I done unto thee, that thou hast smitten me these 3 times?" She reminds him of her lifelong faithful service, asking if it is her habit to act this way. Balaam's immediate response exposes his complete spiritual blindness. He complains that the donkey has mocked him, and says, "I would there were a sword in mine hand, for now would I kill thee." He wishes for a weapon to execute his protector, completely unaware of the actual sword currently aimed at his own neck. The roles are now entirely reversed. The esteemed human visionary acts like an irrational, violent animal, while the actual beast speaks with the calm logic of a perceptive protector. At that exact moment, the Lord finally opens Balaam's eyes, revealing the angel of the Lord standing in the way with his sword drawn in his hand. The false confidence immediately vanishes. Balaam bows his head and falls flat on his face in the dirt. The angel delivers a stern rebuke. He confronts the prophet, stating, "I went out to withstand thee, because thy way is perverse before me." He then openly condemns Balaam for unjustly beating the animal. The angel makes the reality of the situation explicitly clear. He tells Balaam that if the donkey had not turned away those 3 times, he would have surely killed the prophet and let the animal live. Balaam confesses his sin. He admits he had no idea the divine adversary was standing against him in the path, and he offers to abandon the journey and turn back. But the angel allows him to proceed, delivering one final directive that echoes the exact constraint from the very beginning. "Go with the men, but only the word that I shall speak unto thee, that thou shalt speak." By bypassing the prophet and routing divine speech directly into a beast, the narrative illustrates God's absolute control over who gets to act as a mouthpiece. When the channel shifts back to Balaam, those strict constraints remain. His words are entirely dependent on divine command. True spiritual awareness and the authority to speak divine truth do not come from human prestige or religious titles. They are products of absolute heavenly sovereignty.